Hello, welcome to Wildlife of Canada. Eastern chipmunk. This small, bright-eyed squirrel is found in the woods, fens, rows, and gardens of eastern Canada, with the exception of those in Newfoundland. Although he can climb trees and will do so to escape his enemies, he makes his home in a burrow in the ground. The burrow entrance is usually concealed under a stump of covered with leaves when constructing his home. The chipmunk will take great care to scatter the excavated dirt well away from the entrance so as not to betray its location. Spring and fall are times to great activity, but the month of August is usually spent sleeping underground to escape the heat. The winter months are spent in a form of hibernation from the time to time the chipmunk wakes up to eat some of its stored food. Food consists of seeds, nuts, fruits, worms, frogs, and salamanders, which are packed away in special store rooms in burrow. With a bag full of seeds, a free afternoon, a little patient, a chipmunk will eat out of your hand, stuffing his cheek pouches with seeds until you would think they will burst. The little fellow in the picture made his home in front of our family cottage. We fed him regularly and he would pop out of his burrow at the sound of cottage screen door opening. That is when I took his picture. Red-winged blackbird. The gurgling Nakiri song of the red-winged blackbird is familiar to every Canadian farm boy. This bird is found in freshwater marshes across Canada south of the tree line, with the exception of the eastern two-thirds of the island of Newfoundland. In the spring, the older males are the first to arrive to establish a territory among the bulrushes. Later, the females arrive to establish a nesting territory near the males. There is much singing and fighting between males until the boundaries are worked out. The nest is built of marsh vegetation and supported by the bulrushes. Four pale greenish blue eggs are incubated by the female in 10-12 days. The male does not assist in the incubation but aggressively guards the nesting territory. First year males, which are capable of breeding, are ignored by the females and driven off by the older males. 2 or 3 broods a year are not unusual. In July, the family unit splits up. Females and young ones and males form separate flocks. These flocks go out during the day to forage of farmers' fields and return to marsh at night. While these huge flocks may damage crops, they do clean up on many harmful insects. White-tailed deer. This animal is one of the few that has been helped by the spread of civilization. It obtains its food in open, moist woodlands and not in the deep forest that one usually finds in uninhabited places. As man man has cleared the forest through the logging forest, through forest fires and settlement. He has cleared the way for the grasses and scrubs that are the deer's favorite food. Man has also killed off the wolves and other animals that used to hunt the deer for food. As a result, the whitetail is found in southern Canada from Nova Scotia to British Columbia. In fact, summer conditions are very good for the deer. They are so numerous nowadays that in an extra long cold winter with deep snow covering the grasses and scrubs and only white cheddar left to eat, many deer will starve to death. The antlers of the male deer start to develop in mid-April. They are the fastest growing animal tissue known, and with a good food supply, the male will grow a full set by August. He rubs the velvet covering off in September, exposing a set of hard, bony weapons to use against other males in competition for the females. In November, the antlers drop off over the winter. If you want to see this magnificent animal, look for it in open woods, clearings, and cheddar swamps a few hours after sunshine or a few hours before sunset. When it is most active, it possesses a keen sense of smell and hearing and will probably realize your presence before you know where it is. When excited, it snorts through its nose and raises its tail, showing the white fur on the underside and on its behind. Almost of you of us ever see to the deer is a flash of its white tail as it runs for cover. Okay, white tail as it runs for cover. Bullfrog. This is the largest of our frogs and is found in southern Ontario and British Columbia. It prefers ponds, marshes, lakes, and slow-moving streams. It is never found far from water. The bullfrog has a huge appetite and will eat earthworms, crayfish, spiders, snails, insects, tadpoles, even small grater, snakes, birds, and mice. It will eat other frogs that are almost as big as itself. Its hunting methods require great patience. It will sit quietly on a log or riverbank, surviving its domain. Suddenly, a tasty dragonfly will hover into view. The bullfrog sits motionless as the dragonfly comes closer and closer. Suddenly, a tasty dragonfly will hover into view. The bullfrog sits motionless as the dragonfly comes closer and closer. Suddenly, the bullfrog's tongue shoots out and naps the unwary insect. A quick swallow. The dragonfly is no more. An out hunter waits for his next victim. The male's mating call is familiar to anyone who has spent time sleeping outdoors on a warm summer night. He seems to be saying Jocko rum over and over. An entire pond full of bullfrogs can be heard for up to half a mile away and can make sleep very difficult. After mating, the female lays between 10 and 20,000 eggs that float on the surface of the water. Under ideal conditions, they will hatch in a week, and the Bullfrogs will be fully grown in 2 years. Raccoon. This highly intelligent, mischievous looking animal is found across southern Canada in every province except Newfoundland. He has a highly developed sense of hearing, eyesight, and touch. The riverbank and lakeshore during the night are his favorite places. This is where he finds his food, which consists of frogs, crayfish, small fish, insects, turtles, mice, and fruit. Folklore has it that the raccoon washes his food, but this is not true. The raccoon has a highly developed sense of touch in his forepaws and likes to investigate his food by touching and turning it. As the raccoon usually picks up its food in the shallow water, this action of rubbing food with its forepaws while sitting in a few inches of water led to the mistaken belief that the raccoon was washing its food. The raccoon has adapted to the presence of a man so well that in many areas he has become a nuisance. He loves corn on the cob and can be quite destructive to this crop. Our cities have a large raccoon population, and here he has caused problems, practically with his habit of raiding. Garbage cans in the middle of the night, it seems that no lock, lid, or protective device to it is too complex for his inquisitive mind and agile forepaws. Raccoons have even found their way into our subway systems and into the ventilation ducts of large downtown buildings. Baby raccoons make interesting pets up until the time they are about a year old. A friend of mine adopted a baby he had found in the den that was blocking his chimney. In the first year, with its affectionate disposition, inquisitive nature, interesting little hands, and unusually high intelligence, it was much more fun than a dog. In its second year, it became unpredictable and started to bite. Eventually, it had to be confined to the cage in the basement and was later given to the zoo. If you are ever tempted to take the young of any wild animal home as a pet, remember that they are unpredictable. When full grown, no one enjoys having to dispose of family pet. Canada goose. The gooselings of the Canada goose weighs from 3.5 to 4.5 ounces at birth, and they are ready to leave the nest soon afterward. They grow quickly and can double their weight in a week. If there is a good food supply available in about 8 weeks, they will look like their mother and weigh 24 times their weight at birth. These goslings can dive underwater to escape the talons of hawks and owls. They also have to keep an eye out below as well as above, as they were sometimes eaten by larger fish. Their parents mate for life and will build their nests near water, preferably on an island on a beaver or muskrat house. The male guards the female while she is in one on the nest, and is absolutely dedicated and fearless in doing so. In fact, he doesn't let the nest out of his sight for the entire period of 25 or 28 days it takes to hatch their eggs. A gosling in the first few hours of its life accepts the first object it, it sees as it is apparent in crowded areas. Families can sometimes get mixed up, and mothers and fathers often gain or lose goslings. Canada geese have extremely good eye and sight and hearing. I know they can hear the click of a camera from across a pond, and hunters know that geese can easily spot them from high in the air. In the fall and spring, everyone right across Canada can see the high flying V formation and hear the distant honking of his magnificent bird. Black-tailed prairie dog. In Canada, the black-tailed prairie dog occupies only a lonely, uninhabited valley in southern Saskatchewan, very near the American border. South of the border, he extends as far south as central Texas. He eats the grasses that ranchers would prefer to reserve for cattle and sheep. And so he has been trapped and poisoned almost out of extinction. He lives in a prairie dog town consisting of hundreds of burrows and covering many acres. The burrow is a 40-foot long combination of tunnels and rooms. A mound of earth around the entrance of the burrow serves as an observation platform to view the surrounding prairie as a precaution against flooding. Prairie. Feeding on grasses and plant matter both early and late in the day. The prairie dog spends the midday hours sleeping, grooming, sunbathing, and generally wasting time. He will stay in his burrow on cloudy days. He does not hibernate but spends most of the winter underground, living off excess fat gained during the autumn and coming out to feed occasionally in good weather. Well adapted to the arid shortgrass prairie, he does not have to drink water as he finds all the moisture he requires in his food. When alarmed, this little animal stands straight up and is on his hind feet and may even rise up on his toes as if to get a better view. The alarm signals is a loud bark upon which the animals lunge off for their burrows. He is hunted by coyotes, badgers, prairie rattlesnakes, eagles, hawks, and burrowing owls. In times past, his greatest enemy was the black-footed ferret. But this animal has disappeared in Canada with the decline in the number of prairie dogs. The black-tailed prairie dog is doomed to the same fate as the buffalo, as are all animals that compete with man. We will miss him. Okay, we are done for today. I'm gonna tell you another wildlife story. I'll see you guys soon.